Hi boys and girls, Miss A here. Today we're going to talk about Module 5, Lesson 3, and your job will be to focus on specifying and partitioning the whole into equal parts and identifying and counting unit fractions by drawing pictorial area models. So we're going to draw pictures as we are working on our models. So first thing is we remember that the numerator is always at the top. That's the number that shows how many parts you are looking at, and the denominator is the part that shows how many parts are in the shape or in the object. Again, I like to think of denominator as like the dungeon, the basement, so it's the bottom, and the numerator is up at the top. There's, the parts that you can explore. So the numerator and the denominator, this is just a little reminder, refresher from over the weekend. So first things first, we are going to look at our application problem. So we know with our word problems, we always need to read, draw, and write, because if without that, we're not going to be able to tell what's going to happen and what we need to answer throughout the problem. So first thing is we need to read it. So Marcos had 1 liter jar of milk to share with his mother, father, and sisters. So I have to think in that sentence, what is important? And I know that 1 liter jar, that's going to be my total, and I have to share it, so I would underline the word share, with his mother, father, and sister. So he has to share it. So I think about that, and I'm going to keep reading. Draw a picture to show how Marcos must share the milk so that everyone gets the same amount. So in this sentence, I know I need to draw a picture and that everyone gets the same amount. That's the most important part. And last but not least is what fraction of the milk does each person get? So I'm going to think about, I need to write a fraction over here, and I need to know and write what each person gets. So I have to do my thinking. I go back, I see this 1 liter jar, that's important, and I see that he is to share the milk with his mother, father, and sister. So this may be a little tricky because we would see this and think, okay, mother, father, and sister, but Marco is in this problem as well. So instead of 3 people to share it with, we need 4. So Marco, his mom, dad, and his sister. So there are 4 people total that he needs to share his milk with. So I have to draw my picture right here because, I made it a little house to think, okay, in my house, I have my father, my mother, my sister, and Marco. So I have 4 people that I'm sharing it with. And I know that 1 part would be 1/4. So each part is the part on the top and the whole on the bottom. So I could write it like that. And each person gets 1/4 of the milk. So I know, looking at my picture, that 1 person gets 1 out of 4 parts. His mother gets 1 out of 4, sister, as well as Marco. So that's where we go from each person gets 1/4 of the milk. Next thing, what we're going to do is we're going to find out how many equal parts we have. So again, when we're at this part, you can stop the video, take a guess, and then keep listening. So we're going to just cruise through, but we need to think about how many equal parts do we have. That's always going to talk about the denominator, so the bottom number. And then how many equal parts are shared or shaded is the numerator. So how many parts you are looking at that's shaded or taken away, that's going to be the numerator. So again, the numerator is the parts. The denominator tells you how many total parts that you have, and they always need to be equal. So I have my first shape. I want to think about the denominator first. So how many parts do I have? And I have 3. And how many are shaded? I have 2. So I would have 3 as my denominator and 2 as my numerator. So my fraction will be 2/3 because 2 out of the 3 are shaded. Next, I see my denominator. Again, I count the bottom and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 as my denominator. And I see 1 triangle is shaded, so I have my numerator as 1. Next one, I count. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I know all the shapes total are 8 as my denominator. And I have to count because, we just can't always look and assume that we know the number. So let's double check our work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 eighths as my shape over here. And the last one, let me move myself. I have a shape of this, and I have 3 as my total, and I have 2 out of 3 shaded. Now, this one can be a little bit tricky because it only has 3 parts and it's not fully complete, and that's okay. As long as each part is the same size, it's okay to have it like this. So this would be my 2/3 part. So boys and girls, we want to make sure you're always counting the denominator, counting the numerator, and double checking your work and thinking about how we can make it into fractions. And for your assignment today, you're going to get some more practice.